everyone, and namaskar. I am Pallavi from Talent Battle. And if you are going for an interview, a question that every interviewer asks you is what are your strengths? And many a times we don't understand how to put forward my strengths to make the other person believe that these are my capabilities. So today's video is all about that. What are your strengths and how to tell that? Without a further ado, let's get started. So that's what we call it as strength. But here in an interview, we are not talking about only physical strengths, but we are also talking about mental capabilities. Assess your strengths. When it comes to toot your own horn, you need to be specific. Assess your skills to identify your strengths. So it is very important for you to assess your own strengths, to understand what my strengths are, to understand what my plus points are, because then only you will be able to put forward what exactly you want to say. So it's very difficult for many a times for us to boast about ourselves, but here that's exactly what you want to do. But that also doesn't mean that you can fake it. You have to be very, very honest with yourself. What are your strengths? So there are categories of your strengths which you can tell to the person or the interviewer who is standing or sitting in front of you. The first is knowledge-based skills. So there are going to be your plus points based on your experience up till now. So for example, these knowledge-based skills are basically what falls under the work that you do. For example, C programming, Java, or any such applications that you have used which helped you to gain that experience. So knowledge, wherever you have got the knowledge from your previous experience, here that you're going to talk about. Next, transferable skills. Now, transferable skills is basically that you are going to use while working in the company. That can be strategizing, that can be planning, that can be communication, right? So if you are looking for a management skill, or if you are looking for a management position, you need to focus more on transferable skills, because they are looking out for a person not only who is knowledge based, but also a person who can give away something, who can contribute towards the company and make company grow. So transferable as in which you give to other person. And the last one is personal traits. So your person, as a person, how are you? For example, I'm an enthusiastic person, or I'm a punctual person, or I'm a goal-oriented person. These are your personal traits. This is outside the professional life. So keeping professional life aside, whatever are your personal traits, so how good are you as a person? For example, if you say that I'm an empathetic person, that means I generally try to console other people. Whatever is your personal trait, you need to tell at least 3 strengths of yours, which includes one has to be knowledge based, second it has to be transferable skills, and third personal traits. So you have to combine all 3 of them and tell what are your strengths. Now, why that? See, every interviewer is interested to know how are you as a person in your personal life and in your professional life. Along with that, the company also needs to know how do you contribute towards the company. So the knowledge-based skills will give them an idea as to what do you carry from your last experience. Transferable skills will give them an idea what do you contribute towards the company, or how can you contribute towards the company. And personal traits, through that they will understand whether you are even suitable to work in a team or the environment that the company has. The STAR method. This is a very apt, appropriate, and a perfect way of explaining your strengths. It also can be applied for your weaknesses as well. Why is it called STAR? Let's understand that. So it is basically, the long form goes like this: situation, task, action, result. See, interviewer needs to hear a story from you. And you only can tell a story when you go with this method. Imagine I am asking you a question, what are your strengths? Okay, and you're saying I am enthusiastic, I am good in Java, and I am good at planning. That doesn't inspire me, that doesn't excite me to know more. But in the same format, if I give you a situation where I used all three categories or all three strengths and the results were good, or I came out of the situation, that excites me, my friend. Because what happens is human is connected to emotions and he needs to see a larger life in you. Why are we attracted to a cinema? It's larger than life. And that's exactly what you want to do here. You have to tell them a situation in a form of story. Tell what were your obstacles or what task you need to do. Based on the task, what actions did you take? And because you took actions, what was the result? Situation. Set the scene and give necessary details of your example. Now here, word of caution. You don't have to make actual story. You don't have to say once upon a time. No. What I'm going to do is, you can say, in my previous organization, I was given a team to handle which was of 100 people. Okay. And before that, I had never handled such a big team. So in a way, you're telling them a situation, what exactly happened, right? Task. Describe what your responsibilities was and your situation. So for example, if you are given a team of 100 people, what was your task? Was it to get the work done? Or was it to lead them? Or was it to just guide them? What was your task? Explain them. Next, action. Explain exactly what steps do you take or took to address it. So when you understood that I have 100 people in front of me who are waiting to take orders or are waiting to work with me, so what am I supposed to do? How do I build a rapport? How do I gel up with them that they listen to me? So action is what you need to take here. Result. Then you're going to tell, because you took that task, because you took some actions, what was the result? Was the team successful? Was the project appreciated or not appreciated? This is how the flow of your story should be. Imagine if you win a particular award. Do you just blankly say, I won this award? No, you tell a story behind that, right? How did I do that? How did I win that? What all struggles were there? That's exactly how you do here. So when you talk about your strengths, you are going to talk about everything, including how did I do that? Why did I do that? What did I do? Every single detail. I'm also giving you an example in your next slide. So the example answer, the interviewer says, tell me about a time when you had to be very strategic in order to meet all of your top priorities. As in where you had to prioritize your work or you have to plan something to achieve something. Okay, so the interviewer is asking, tell me about a time when you had to be very strategic in order to meet all of your top priorities. So your job is going to have top 3 priorities always. So based on that, how do I strategize those? How do I bifurcate those so that all 3 are met? Let's listen or let's see what the answer was. Now, what I'm going to do is, first of all, as the STAR method says, we are going to go for a situation. So the situation is like this. In my previous role or sales role, I was put in charge of the transfer of an entirely new customer relationship management, which is CRM system, on top of handling my daily sales calls and responsibilities. So I already have my responsibilities of calling people, selling products, that is there. Along with that, I was also given one more additional task, which was to transfer the data of customers into CRM. So that was an added responsibility given to me. That was the whole situation. Task. The goal was to have the migration to the new CRM database completed by Q3, that is quarter 3. So that's 3 months, without letting any of my own sales numbers slip below my targets. So that doesn't mean that the boss has given you a liberty. Okay, don't do your regular sales, just focus on the CRM. No, the boss is saying you have to also do your sales. You have to also achieve your regular targets. Along with that, you also have to transfer the data. So the task was to transfer the whole lot of data on the CRM for 3 months. Imagine sales. Every day a sales manager meets at least calls at least 100 people. That's one sales manager. Imagine you having 10 of them. So that's crazy, right? Action. In order to do that, so now he's telling you, how did I do that? In order to do that, I had to be very careful about how I managed all of my time. So what he did is he planned his time, so strategized his time. So I blocked off 1 hour each day on my calendar to dedicate solely to the CRM. Now, what he did is he had 9 hours. He bifurcated that 9 hours in different small tasks. Now, based on those tasks, what he said is he wanted to block 1 hour for that CRM. Okay, so he said, okay, from let's say after post lunch or before lunch, I will block 1 hour where I only focus on the CRM. During this time, I worked on transferring data as well as cleaning out old contacts and updating outdated information. So he not only transferred the data, but he also cleaned. So he removed all the old contacts which are of no use, and he also updated outdated information. So there can be an information of a customer which is quite outdated. For example, his address has changed, his phone number has changed, or his complaint has been acknowledged, but it's not recorded in the system. So all of that also was seen by him. Doing this gave me enough time to chip away from at that project, but still handling my normal tasks. So because he strategized his time, he strategized and devised a plan which helped him to not disturb his daily routine. Along with that, he was able to complete this particular responsibility given by the boss. And the result, as a result, the transfer was completed in 2 weeks ahead of deadline, and I finished the quarter 10% ahead of my sales goal. So he's telling the interviewer, how did this strategizing, how did this prioritizing help me? So he said the transfer was completed in 2 weeks, so that was quite fast. But along with that, he also surpassed the target given to him for sales by 10%. So in a way, you can also here look about the strengths where you can understand his time management skills, you can understand his observation skills, you can understand his goal-oriented skills, right? His goal-oriented. He has kept that 1 hour. So once that 1 hour comes, he removes everything else from his mind and only focuses on the data, the CRM. Right? So that's how exactly you have to tell your strengths in a STAR method. Why? Because a person needs to understand the situation. He also needs to understand what problems did you face. He also needs to understand what actions did you take. And after all this, what was the result? So in this format, you can tell all your strengths that you have in you, and that will help other person to understand you as a personality and as a human being. Make sure that next time when you get a question of what are your strengths or tell me more about your capabilities, you can use this method and make sure that the other person believes you and your strengths. Meet you in the next video. Until then, thank you.